no worse. I can feel it running out on me. I don't want these to be my last words. All forgotten, 'cause that's all they'll be. Now there's only one thing I can do, fighting till the end like I promised to.
কত টাকা পাবে বলতো জিতবে? ইন্ডিয়ান টাকা কত বলতো? ইন্ডিয়ান টাকা কত? চেক কর না খালি। এটা যদি ওপেন পাবলিক হতো না,
sacrificial like ooh now baby with the pain with the sacrifice baby it's official this is sacrificial
like it's a sure sign. We should be rolling with the divine. Maybe we can reach the heavens, a dance in hellfire. And if they say it's not right, maybe I don't see you wanna stay blind. Cause you feel like an angel, and we're doing fine. I feel it all the time, the heavy weight of your love. I'd put it on the line, I would give it right up. Like ooh, now, baby it's official, this is sacrificial. Like ooh, now, baby it's official, this is sacrificial. Hey! Sacrifice. Baby, it's official. This is sacrificial. Hey! Baby, with the pain, with the sacrifice. Baby, with the pain, with the sacrifice. Where do I begin? I can't explain it. Now you're wasted. Photos fading in, I see him changing. All the faces, seeing red flags in the morning. It's a warning, a warning. It's a sure sign. Where do I begin? I can't explain it. Now you're wasted. How could you let them do? Oh, it's on you. How could you let them turn you into a monster? You're decided to burn while you ran across it. I guess you never learned till you live and you lost it. Live and you lost it. How could you let them turn you into a monster? You're decided to burn when you ran across it. I guess you never learned till you live and you lost it. Live and you lost it. Going on a whim, try to erase it, leaving traces. Your head on the pavement, know you traded, sick of playing. Going by flags in the morning, it's a warning, a warning. Going on a whim, try to erase it, all the traces. How could you let them do? Oh, it's on you. How could you let them turn you into a monster? You're decided to burn while you ran across it. I guess you never learned till you live and you lost it. Live and you lost it. How could you let them turn you into a monster? You're decided to burn when you ran across it. I guess you never learned till you live and you lost it. Live and you lost it. Monster, and the blood on a cold night. Monster, it's a curse, it's a sure sign.
নতুন এজেন্ট নাকি? কেউর মতো বাদ করছে মনে হয়, মানে দাদা
slows down when it can get no worse. I can feel it running out on me. Don't want these to be my last words. All forgotten, 'cause that's all they'll be. Now there's only one thing I can do. Fight until the end like I promised to. Wishing there was something left to lose. This could be the day I die for you. What do you see before it's over? Blinding flashes getting closer. Searching I had something left to lose. This could be the day I die for you. This could be the day I die for you. This could be the day I die for you. This could be the day I die for you. This could be the day I die for you. Don't let it be the day. This could be the day I die for you. Don't let it be the day. Feeling like there's nothing I can do. This could be the end, it's mine to choose. It's taken me my lifetime just to prove. This could be the day I die for you. Don't let it be the day. What do you see before it's over? Blinding flashes getting closer. Sacrificing everything I do. This could be the day I die for you. This could be the day I die for you. Wanna let it go, wanna make 'em all fight. Wanna be control, wanna let it be the day.
Woohoo!
Oh my
What
word.
an opening
Insane.
ceremony. Our friend Zed, you know, casually on the bass there.
That's our boy. That's our boy. Just tier 1 music, tier 1 competition. It doesn't get any better.
Wow, that is an incredible little bit of production there, and it happened right outside the door here. I can't believe it. The vibes are so high right now.
Yeah, I love the. You mentioned this when we were watching this, Riv. The like sprays and the finishes in the screen.
Everything
that
was coming. You
sick.
saw the little glitch pop
Yeah.
things. You saw
Oh
a little
my
the king. Oh my
The
word!
Easter eggs were
The
everywhere.
Easter eggs.
There was a lot of Easter
We're
eggs.
gonna have to
It's
go
not even
hunting
Easter
after this
yet.
for sure.
Yeah.
All of you
Get
too.
your baskets ready. I'm going.
The Reddit threads are going to be interesting on that one, but I feel like we raised the bar like too high. Like, how do we beat that in future champions? I'm sure we'll find a way, but
We're gonna have to start a band.
yeah. Put us on. But I do like in Chronicle's interview last night, he mentioned the song. He was like, I came out here to do what the lyrics said in the song, you know, like I'm going to come out here and win the tournament. I love how much this means to people.
I love it. And that remix was banging. Oh my
That
God.
was
I
really
love
good.
it. Oh
You know, if
my
we need a
God.
bass player, I hear Zed's pretty good on the bass. So, like, just saying.
Yeah, well, after that incredible ceremony, we're going to take a quick breather, but don't go anywhere, guys. The championship match between Gambit is up next.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
লল ভাই মনে তো হচ্ছে না প্রোডাকশন ফল্ট। হ্যাঁ 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 আমিও চেক করলাম। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ আগের স্ক্রিনটা মানে
Time slows down when it can get no worse. Wishing there was something left to lose. This could be the day I die for you.
Welcome back once again to the grand finals of Valorant Champions. I'm back on the desk with Sean, Riv, and Jess. Let's talk about the nuances of this best of 5. In the past, we've seen teams have massive advantages, particularly through the ban phase. We saw Gambit, fall to that, forced to play Haven back at Masters 3. But Sean, this time around, things are a little different.
Yeah, things are a lot different. Now we have 7 maps, guys. We have Fracture added into the pool. So when we get to this grand final stage where it's a best of 5, both teams will get a veto. So they'll get to ban out a map that they think they're really weak on, or the other team is super strong on. And in Acend's case, sheer God, are they strong on Bind, Riv. They've won countless matches in a row, and they actually 13-0'd Gambit at Red Bull home ground.
Yeah, they were having a lot of fun spicing up those maps at Red Bull.
Yeah.
Here we have, unfortunately, Bind torched immediately, banned out.
This is interesting because I've never seen Gambit ban anything else other than Haven. But, Jess, in this scenario, we might not even see Haven anyway because Acend also don't like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, get rid of the worst devil of them all, and that's going to be, Bind there. For me, Haven coming out is not a surprise as well. The 2 bans I expected coming in are gone, but let us not forget, this is a best of 5. You essentially have to be good at almost every single map except for 2. And then you were hoping that you'll get those maps in an order that will sort of be a little bit more praising of the way that you go on those maps. So the first 3 at the very least.
Yeah, and Breeze is locked in straight away for Gambit. No surprises there, Sean.
No surprise at all. Both of these teams, though, are actually very, very good on Breeze. And this is CNED's playground. He dominates the map.
This map goes to operators as fast as possible for both of your operators.
Yes.
And whoever is lacking that, I feel like is going to start dropping rounds right away. This game is going to be protecting your operators and making sure those long angles are always held.
Ooh, I love Acend as well. Acend's one of my favorite maps to watch overall. Outside of Breeze and the long-range maps like Icebox and stuff, I'm a big operator fan, so of course I look there. But when you get onto Acend, I feel like there's so much strategy that comes into play in utility usage. That's why I'm going to be looking to there. Maybe we go from map 1, the ops, to map 2, the utility.
The utility usage is something special because Zeke, who's the top performer on Acend, not CNED, it's Zeke. He plays the KO on Acend.
Let's go.
And he was tearing it up assist-wise. He gets so much value out of his utility.
For Acend as well, Gambit had the no duelist comp. Are they going to run that again? And we see Fracture now coming in too.
And we're not going to have a chance to avoid it. That's what I didn't want. I didn't want it to go into like the last couple of maps and then like we have maybe not a possibility of seeing it. You are guaranteed to see Fracture in the finals, baby. Let's go.
Is this the first time we've seen Breeze and Fracture in a series? Because people seem to have, they either lean towards one or the other, but having both in the first 3 maps is going to be incredible. But Icebox, Sean, is next for Acend.
Yeah, it's a map that both of these teams have kind of strayed away from. Their map pools are very similar other than Bind. I think this is a great draft right now from Acend because I would actually give them the edge on Icebox.
Yeah, for sure. We talked about it earlier just off the desk in that Nats does not have the same effect as he did when he was in Berlin. We're seeing people have actually focused that, and his encroachment into defending positions or attacking, depending on what side he is not working as much.
I mean, remember what Vikings did to them? Let us not forget that they were struggling to work it out. And every time Vikings went up to like attack spawn and whatnot, they just looked. They flicked across and like, is Nats there? Is Nats in spawn? Yes, he is. Good night. And he had to keep sort of moving himself across the map, and he couldn't lurk the way he wanted to lurk. So shut down on that map. I'm excited for this. This is looking good so far.
Yeah, and Split will be left until the last 1 2. So we got Breeze, Acend, Fracture, Icebox, Split. Looking at the bans though, Riv, it feels like Gambit being able to take away the Bind and Haven for them is great. It's a great start.
It has to feel good because we've seen how aggressive they are on the other maps where they actually position and prioritize what Chronicle would be doing if Defo can just get that operator as well. Shados has been stepping up. So the way that the maps work out for them means that they can play their own game and they don't have to be reserved and almost play to the level of Acend on Bind or Haven.
I'm going to say this, guys. If they banned Haven instead of Fracture, Acend has not played Fracture all tournament. What does that say about their Fracture? They must feel very comfortable with it to float that in this best of 5.
Yeah, you say that, but they were talking about the counter strategies. I'm wondering whether or not they're not playing their own game anymore. They saw what happened with Liquid. They saw how successful it was to counter their opponent. Do they just, because they've already seen it, just go, we know exactly what you do. Here's the agents that will combat that. Here's what we do, and good night, we shut you down before you begin.
Well, let's see what they can do. A little bit later, the maps are in, but before we welcome the players to the stage, let's take one last look at the journey that brought them to the Champions Grand Finals.
To be honest, after that game, I'm emotional right now.
No one believed in us. We proved ourselves.
I have to forget about what just happened. I have to think only about the opponents.
Just gonna show them who is Acend.
Grand finals. I don't know if I can put it in words. You just have like constant adrenaline just pumping. Mentally, I am totally ready to win champions, but the job's not yet finished.
They're the strongest opponents right now. On this match, we can show our max potential.
It's gonna be a hard match for them, not like in semi-final. Just understand that history is still writing.
We will come as the first champions.
We'll see what will happen.
To take him down, but in fact on both sides of the wall, Liquid Guy is holding up high. He's got Zeke. Oh, this guy is just absolutely unbelievable here for Acend.
The shot out of Defo. Defo keeps on fragging as they come around the corner. They're not expecting him to still there, and he's gonna get all five.
Wow, an entire year worth of blood, sweat, and tears has led to this moment, guys. One of these teams will be making history today by lifting the trophy as the first ever winners of Valorant Champions. They're going to go down in history books, guys. Nobody's ever going to forget whichever team wins today.
God, that trophy is so epic. I can't wait to see it.
Don't take it away!
Yeah, don't take
Bring it back!
Oh, man. What an epic intro.
I saw them pull it out of the case. It was like buffed with all this like bubble wrap and soft kind of stuff, and he pulls it out. And as he pulls it out like a baby, he caressed it. And I was like, how heavy is it? And he goes, it is heavy as heck. So whoever picks it up at the end, they got to be ready to be able to hoist that heavy thing.
I also want to say that I don't think I've ever seen a grand finals of any esports tournament where the two IGLs come out hugging arm in arm like they're best friends walking down the park or something. But it goes to show, you know, how much camaraderie and respect they have for each other.
I can't imagine that they are coming in underestimating each other at all.
No.
What they've seen throughout each other's play, what this means to them, a year's long worth of work going into these games, they're leaving nothing to chance.
Friends out of the server, Insu.
Yes.
Absolute enemies in the server.
I don't think they'll leave anything at the front door, that's for sure. They want this. Both of them want this. And I think they gave the warning that what they went through in the semi-finals is not what they should expect in the grand finals.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to see any dance routines on the side of Stark, so as well to see what he's going to bring out today. A lot of sheeshes we're hearing behind us, but let's talk about the first map because we are heading into the Prime Gaming Agent Select. It's unlikely, Sean, that either teams are going to switch things up after the success they've had here.
No, yeah, I don't think we're going to see any surprises here in the finals unless we get it from Acend. Gambit, like I said earlier, they didn't have much time to change things. So yeah, we're seeing the Tribe.
Oh, okay. We are seeing something different. Chronicle is back on the Killjoy. He was playing the Sky for the last two breezes here, and now he has said already publicly he prefers to play Killjoy here.
That's very interesting because he's had so much success in this initiator role, the top performer on the team and the only player on Gambit in the top 10 in ACS.
You know what this does really well? One, Acend, I've already, you know, praised them for having really good analysts and counter strategies. One, that throws a wrench in it. Number two, Chronicle is in the zone. This sets a precedent for a map that we won't expect because Acend will have prepped for something completely different here.
Being able to bring out something new here, I think it trends for Acend to be like, yeah, we're not going to focus on what our team's playing because that's what can happen, right? You don't want to be thrown for a loop if you're expecting a Cypher or something to be in that position all the time. So I love the fact that Gambit can pull that out, and maybe it will throw Acend for a loop.
And meanwhile, on Acend, the tried and true, right? Zeke locking in that KO, and I mentioned he was banging all tournament with KO. Going into the semis, guys, he was the #1 player in assists. That means his KO was through the roof. He was suppressing everyone. His timings with the 0 point have been so good. The pre-0 points over elbow on
And it's
Breeze.
something they've brought in since Masters 3.
Yeah. This is a new look.
Yeah, I wonder if this is done specifically to counter that KO. Who knows? But before we jump into game, I need to know the final prediction from you guys. Who are you backing to win this series? Jess has the curse right now, so I'll start with you.
Oh no. And the reason I've gone with this prediction is because I love both of these teams. I love all the players, but I really think the support staff is behind Acend right now, all the counter strategies. As an ex-analyst and coach myself, I got to throw my hats to them, so I'm going with Acend.
But Acend or my dark horse coming into this tournament, and man, have they lived up to my expectations. I'm sticking with Acend.
Let's go!
I think they're taking this series, but this is the only opponent.
Where we're going to actually go to 5 maps.
I think it's so possible. It's very,
especially
very likely.
with what we're seeing here. If both teams come in not with their favorites and they have to push into these 50-50 maps that both teams will have an attack side or a defensive advantage on, you definitely see 5.
Well, the desk are very Acend heavy here. Turkey are going to love you guys for that, but it's time for us to jump into Breeze with your casters for today. It's Pansy and Hypog.
Okay, we are being presented with such a treat in front of us. Now, I have to put it quite bluntly here. We've seen a great deal of Gambit. They've had to show a good amount of depth throughout this event. Acend have been toiling away in the shadows. Not many people paying mind to them as they rightly should have been. Where do you stand?
It's really interesting, and again, seeing the journey of Acend, this is almost kind of the second coming of Acend, right? We had that almost dip, you could call it, throughout the mid-year, and Gambit obviously rose towards the end of the year here, but in terms of the stylistic kind of matchup here, Acend have actually fixed some of the issues you'd have with a concern coming into this matchup, particularly against Gambit.
Well, deep breaths, everyone. We are 10 seconds away from starting up here. And again, we've talked about the art of greatness throughout this entire event, time and time again. And remember, great moments are born from great opportunity that these both now have. Gambit on the attacking side, Acend on the defending side. And we're right into this.
Oh, yeah, actually, the Trailblazer straight up elbow. If I'm trying to follow it up here. Michael just sitting tight in nest right now, but it's a heavy lean towards B's site here on the side of Acend. I'm not actually going to be able to avoid this owl drone here, but I see that's going to take first contact deals with Defo immediately.
Yeah, a little bit of a return fire from Shados, but it's quick and it's Acend really sending a stark message to begin with. 2 quick kills and you lose out on Defo and Shados. 2 big instigators on this attacking side. So now looking at what's left, Nats, Redgar, Chronicle. A tough predicament to be presented with, and now a last-minute Aileen. Now the spike is on the way, and you can see Nats slowly closing in towards Killers. Killers better be aware that he's not so safe, and you can see that paranoia starting to build.
Nats tagged up a little bit, actually going to get a confirmation here, but also going to hear out these steps in spawn. We have to relay that information, so Nats got a lot to deal with here. If they swing together, he's going to get detected here as well.
Yeah, he's going to be noted pretty quickly. Redgar's gone down. Nats is only good for 1. It's on Chronicle now, and a 1v4, and it's gone quickly. Acend, hey, let's talk about this now. That's 4 standing, that's confidence building. This is a perfect beginning in map 1.
And again, we're coasting through that. The perfect setup again, anticipating Gambit showing a little presence towards B, and actually the pistol round in particular, but potentially towards the side of the top, which is always important. Again, on Breeze, you've got to consider that rotation factor, and again, now it's going to give them the opportunity to, I guess on some of these buy rounds, explore mid, maybe get a little bit aggressive, stop Gambit in their tracks, but again, just looking clean. It's almost like they're completely anticipating that hit, and they were set up perfectly for it.
Now, when you see Breeze, though, and you see Acend, my mind goes, funny enough, to 100 Thieves. Right? Is it just me?
I'm glad we've got there so early, because that's, again, probably the biggest stumble throughout the year.
Was that a quarterfinal, I believe, in Berlin last time around, where everyone suddenly went, oh, wait.
Should have been a 9-3.
Should have.
It was an 8-4, and then 100 Thieves, well, we all know how that one ended. Again, one of the craziest comebacks I think we've seen.
Absolutely. But this has to then echo a little bit of something for Acend. There has to be that little bit of worry in the mind, but with every single frag that comes in for them right now, it's looking clean. But there's a crunch coming in through towards that B side. Starzo's just fine, though. He can fall back, hopefully wait for some support. There are 3 players looking for angles, and he's finding every single answer to them so far. That's with a good shot, but it's a 1v3, and it's not looking so likely. Caught in the heels and put to bed by CNED. It's 2 on the board, and Acend keep 3 alive.
Well, carry some of that momentum across, some early progress towards the Viper's Pit. Starzo. See what they can get done here. And again, this is another opportunity where potentially Acend now can greet Gambit ahead of a site hit. And Viper will actually invest it pretty early on here. Well, that's going to be an indicator. We can see the setup here. The 4-man lean towards A. And Body's in position again, and look towards Zeke here in a pivotal position, holding onto the stairs here to make sure that Nats once again can't lean deep into halls. Again, actually, it's looking like they might walk it as 2
the
here.
walk. Yep. Now Defo's battle will rage on as long as Bone Cold doesn't overextend. Let's see if there's impact elsewhere. It's going to be put into a tough scenario, having to deal with this push coming up tube. 2 players going to turn the screws on it. Nats doing Nats thing, says hello. Starzo, you going to try and play Viper against me? That's crazy. For now, though, Gambit are doing well. They're keeping the rifles in the right place, and they're not really falling foul to any of these little bits of trickery. Now, yes, maybe CNED with a rifle could find a bit of work here. Spike is down, though.
Last player
and Bone Cold gets caught. So now CNED left in a bit of a spot of bother.
He's a little tagged up, so whether or not he's going to look to do some damage. Shados has got himself tucked all the way into defender's spawn. The other 3 members of Gambit, no danger as of yet. Again, just look at that. It's something that we see Nats become more and more comfortable doing, right? It's the walk up, it's the pick up. Yeah, actually missing on the first shade off. Will clean it up. But again, Nats is, again, it's so brazen, right? It's almost like that pressure comes through on Halls. It's noted by Bonecold. I'm pretty sure he's comfortable in calling 2 out there with the Trailblazer as well. And Nats just walks up. Literally walks up. And Green Stars are on default. There's not really an awful lot in terms of setup there that Acend changed other than playing a little deeper, right? They give up sight and potentially, I guess, regress towards double doors, try and retake that space on Halls, but... And here's Cena now on the operator. Early, actually, round 4 here.
Revealing area.
Off to a good start, though, for himself, so why not? But let's see what the adjustment, if there is one, coming out from Gambit, if they consider this a possibility. But already going to give away somewhat of the game, trying to play it through elbow, and Shados gets a freebie. Bonecold going to be livid with that. Shadows going to try and power forward. Yeah, oh, he almost caught Killers as well. Finest of margins here, but they actually peel away from this.
Feel a bit of pressure, and actually you can see here Chronicles found some space towards double doors. You're absolutely right, Lauren.
I wonder if audio cues have been heard, maybe even spotting stars, or maybe not, maybe just the intuition kicking in, but he has to facilitate this somewhat, and timing is on his side. They've just about spotted each other. Utility goes down, I think, towards either site or main, so they're aware the hit's going to be leaning this way. They can leave CNED lingering towards that B site, as now Chronicle starts to build through. Lovely work from him. Good spray, no connect, but it's Redguard to find it. So now the site should at least be available enough, and Chronicle will not overextend.
The tricky spot here. Hunter's Fury actually going to get sent through from Redguard. He actually found a tag inside back at Halls. He did. Keyless will fall. Just he can see Ned to try and recover this now.
I don't see Gambit getting overzealous. I don't think they're going to overpeak on this. I think they're going to sit real keen, play this smart, and not give away any opportunities. Just a little jump peek, that's enough. Just to reassure. Positioning! What? Zeke! 2 kills out of nowhere, and suddenly this round becomes a little bit more viable, but time is the biggest problem! Oh my word, Zeke! Is this when you're going to step up and deliver? But it's going to be Chronicle. The bottom line, Zeke! The timing! I don't think he's going to have the time. Surely! Surely! Oh my god! Zeke has just destroyed them!
That was absolutely insane from Zeke. Landing absolutely everything.
Gambit were halfway out the door.
They were.
Gambit were like, we're fine. We're absolutely fine. And then this happens.
Oh my god. I can't believe. Again, like you said, Chronicles, look at this on the X-Ray. Chronicles like, yeah, surely they've not got away back on site. Zeke actually got off the defuse there before the half. Again, at that point you think, well, yeah, if you don't get the half there, it's done for. What an insane round from Zeke. And again, Sean touched on this. He's looked so comfortable on this KO. There's almost like a late round component for Acend, which is something previously lacking, right? It was all about that initial aggression for Acend.
And look, how many times have we told the story of CNED and Starzo and a couple of the other players, and Zeke was this hot prospect who got picked up and we were waiting to see if he could activate, find that role, and he's found more than that already. And you've got to say, losing a 2v4, 5 almost there, that's going to be a tilter for Gambit. Let's see if they can keep that known composure, but Zeke ain't stopping. He's right back at it. Just straight onto Chronicle. He's feeling this game. He's got that hot hand where everything makes sense, but a quick piece in towards the B site. Now, we already know there's one player here. Killers does find one, and Defo's none the wiser. He's gone away with murder from this corner. A free little upgrade as well, leaving Nats and Redgar with nothing to do but die, surely. Yeah, Nats is on one side of the map, but look what the spike is.
And unretrievable now. You can see already the body's in place. 4 people here to hold on to it. And again, just Zeke comes through, throws the fragment in, deals with the lockdown. That protects the Viper's pit set up towards A-main, forces Gambit's hand in terms of this rotation. They get punished for it. Really nice crossfire from Bonecold and Keyless. CNED will find Redgar. Nats, the last one to come. 20 seconds, a 1v4.
Well, Zeke's shown that there's possibilities, but I think that Nats knows with that Spike's positioning, they're going to swarm that. Unretrievable. And Acend. 10 seconds left. You couldn't ask for a better start. Let's roll it back, right? Let's talk bigger picture now, because I think Gambit we've looked at considerably, and no matter the scenario, there's always a chance with them, right? They are one of the true tested teams who consistently find that ability to run it back into the game, no matter the scoreline. Acend, I'm still unsure if they can do that grind back, but do they have to?
The problem being, I think, throughout this year, you've looked at Acend and thought, yeah, very fast and loose again. How much can they replicate that in terms of, you know, teams that don't match up? And Gambit, I think, is actually one of those examples you say they play so slow that it could cause a lot of problems for Acend, right? kind of they burn out very quickly in the early round. But one of the things Acend have really tightened up is their late round, their audible calling. And again, it comes back to Zeke in terms of this utility cycle, and he's such a huge factor in that regard.
Well, it'll be Zeke and Killers over towards the B site. No early note of player, but speaking of them towards the B side, I've got to look towards those double doors. Push out comes in from Acend, takes a little bit of an early battle, but don't overcommit, fall away. Now utility gets noted and the push looks like it's coming in. It's a bit of a shaky buy. Nat's the only one really with a rifle, and Killers still just keeps away. How is he not getting noted at this point? So many rounds, he's getting away from these dirty little angles. Ult comes in and Killers sends it right back. That's his site and you are not getting into it. Spike once again down behind enemy lines, over a minute on the board. Where do they find any avenue in here?
Again, that's the Spectre and the rifle removed from Gambit. Spike again on site. The one thing actually Gambit had going for them there is getting onto site, finding that Viper's pit, but Keyless aggressively pushes in. He was that before it becomes a problem. Zeke will find another. Shados the last man standing, Sheriff in hand. Again, at this point, don't even discuss the economy. It's not a massive dent, even if he finds one or two here. But again, that's when it's scariest, right? Acend, if they can dig their heels in, they look so comfortable when they're set up to greet any team. Once they hit that site, again, the way they play crossfires, they bait each other into these awkward little angles, and it just looks so comfortable for them.
I feel like we saw that in the semi-final to get here.
You know, it was so apparent versus Liquid, because Liquid wanted to play so, they wanted to play, and again, every single time, Acend looked dominant in the late round. Shados will actually find two.
And I do want to remind people, like, let's say you've only just really started paying attention to Valorant and you've seen this rise of Gambit. There was a king before them. There was another team in EMEA that was constantly towards the top that beat Heretics at the start, and it was Acend. And these guys somewhat fell into the shadows, I'd say, during that quarterfinal loss, couple of underperformances. But now we've seen this rekindling of that fire.
Well, the big thing was, and I think you look at previously, and it was underwhelming. From what we knew regionally of Acend, and we saw the peaks, right? We saw the ceiling for this team, and translating that is always difficult. Again, experience is something you have to consider. I know in that 100 Thieves matchup, the number of times.
How often can we say it?
Yeah, the number of times we're thinking high pressure scenario, Acend actually fumbled a massive lead there, and actually getting to match point, I think having 5 opportunities to close that out. And those are the things that do become very concerning. Now, this time around, it's a completely different monster. Like they
this
have
is night and day.
Yeah, exactly.
And hey, this is a marathon. This isn't a sprint. It's best of 5 times, so it's a longer series. I don't want to ever just lean away from Gambit. That's stupid.
Well, this is the thing. Later in the series, you lean back towards favoring Gambit.
Yes,
again, they're
do.
not the ones that choke. They pull off these mammoth comebacks. And again, you talk about a comeback versus Acend. If they don't start strong and set themselves up for success, that's when Acend looks shakiest. And it's not necessarily even a CNED factor, right? We've talked about other series where CNED's, I guess, on paper, not delivered. And you always think about, oh, CNED will drop 30, give him an op in round 3, it's all good. But that's when the concerns start building, because Gambit, they never give up.
No, they are relentless.
They come back in with thrifty rounds when they're like 7 rounds down, and that's the one that turns an entire map.
We can get into that if it comes apparent, because you talk about in-game leadership, you talk about the coaching element. There's a lot of factors beyond just the players on the screen right now. But at 5-1, Acend are sending a rather poignant statement. Already Seeker's going to come out, though, so Gambit are not wasting any time here. A quick mid-piece. Looks like they want to set the tone.
What?
And Cena just doesn't like the song they're singing. Already with a connection towards Shados. It's put it down to Nats, Redgar, and Defo. But look at the space. They've garnered a fair amount here. But already Zeke seems hyper-cognizant of it. He's already watching this push through.
And again, CNED's picked up a different angle altogether. Defo's looking to close the distance here onto CNED in particular. But see actually the spike making its way back over towards A. Still 2 players on the side of Acend to greet this A main push if it does come.
And they still haven't cleared or noted Bone Cold. He's going to sit there quietly.
They have to re-explore, exactly. There's so many like dirty little angles they can find. Nat's actually going to get found with the spike inside. Hauls that one.
Oh no, the opportunity might have just slipped through his fingers. He keeps control of it for now. Defo does well to get away with that. That was actually looking very one-sided, but now down to the 3v2. Redgar and Defo still trying to find that spike and build it back through. They're trying to isolate Starzo, who's on the stairs. That could be a catch-off, and it is. Good pick from Redgar there, but look who's been waiting the entire time. He kept calm under pressure. Bone Cold being ice cold, and there is CNED. Starts around, ends around, and we carry on. Acend keep powering forward.
Again, it's almost like it's just coming down to 1 or 2 aim fights here, and Gambit unfortunately can't get the response that would convert into into sight control, into something like that. Again, we've seen so much variation on this. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just...
Must be nice.
Just run that one another 3 times if possible.
He's quite good at this game, isn't he?
Yeah.
And
well, if that's the CNED we get today, again, we come back to concerns, right?
We do.
There's a lot of pressure on a player that's come under a bit of flack, and it's Defo, right? It's the opposite number.
And I will be the first to say Defo on LAN looks completely different to how he does online sometimes. But he does now need to find it against a superstar. CNED is a superstar in this game, and Defo, I need to see a little bit of that jet magic coming from him. But the site, a very patient hold, a very deep hold. Starzo sitting back by Tribox. They've got a very deep post-plant positioning potentially, or maybe with that Hunter's Fury, they feel like they want to lean towards that a little more. But Defo's going exploring, and he finds nothing that he wanted. Starzo still holding a good amount of territory. There's that ult coming in as considered. Doesn't get everything, but Starzo does. Acend looks so polished. Nats, you've got a 1v5 and a Spectre. How lucky you're feeling. The diffuser's already come in. I don't think you can do anything about this one. Acend are looking like a different beast right now. Everything is going their way.
It is. And again, Nats has shown a presence a couple of times in Halls there. He's looking to be kind of a late round piece, but setting up, playing distance, it almost looks awkward there. Defo, I think, oversteps the mark slightly, but he's desperate to find that open. He's desperate to try and weaken this hold that Acend have on A site. Starzo just swings through here.
Oh, and can we just highlight for a moment, they just made that look easy against Gambit. And no one makes anything look easy against Gambit.
They literally strolled back onto the side there.
And they seem so hyper-aware that that was the way they wanted to play it. You already had Starzo back at Tribox, sitting super passive, patiently playing off the back of the ult. And we've seen this mid-piece before, but they're being a little bit more patient with it this time. Maybe a little bit of a different look, maybe an adjustment from Gambit. Rifles back out, Defo on the op. Money is there.
Trade-off of information here from the Owl drones. Again, going to try and avoid this spam as best he can. Lots being invested to try and clear him out here, actually. He'll be able to slip back through. Spike not committed this time, so expecting Gambit to just solely try and work a pick here. That sort of slow default we've come to expect.
Yeah, that poised nature coming out from Gambit, but does this...
This is where Acend have got great. They taking this space now. Again, now the rotation comes through from Chronicle.
Yes.
The alarm bot's removed. The turret's still there. Whether or not it's actually going to spot anything. Just wait and see. It gets dealt with here. So Gambit now...
They have to commit, surely.
They have to. They have
Doubling
to.
back on,
50,
on 30 seconds, you can't do anything about it. So now keep your eye towards the likes of Zeke, who sat towards the corner here. Still has flashes. Killers can't watch his cross anymore, so he's a little isolated. But Killers has got a feeling someone's close by. And he's not wrong, and he still gets a surprise on one. Great trade from Defo. Great clear from Defo. How's he found this little bit of momentum? Nats pushes forward, secures CT. Bone Cold from the backside does at least get one, but now it's down to 2. CNED and Bone Cold spike. Yet to go down. Where is this? Hold on, 5 seconds. CNED just has to live. Nats, can you find the final player? Bone Cold's out of there. That's the worst game of hide and seek Nats has ever played.
Again, in a round like that, Gambit have all the indicators of what's going to happen, and when I think actually the turret is dealt with by Defo, he has to deal with that so that the information's not given over, and still, they're too slow to react
Defo
here.
doing this?
Yeah.
Look at this. This shot, the site's yours. You've got to feel that's our first big chance. You know, where's the spike plant from this? How are they still able to deny so much space?
It comes back. Again, Acend have tightened up loads of these scenarios where in a late round, you know, they just get bombarded, overwhelmed on sites, but being proactive towards Cave and towards Shop, they're clearing that space. They have the information early enough.
Look at the pace change.
To send an extra.
Hold on, they're just going to be hammering the nails into the coffin. Bone Cold with a good start. Nats did at least quell Zeke, but it was an effective trade. Bone Cold's not stopping either. He's seen everything now. He's got so much information to play with. He doesn't have to be worried about this. Redgar can't do much about it. He can maybe stay alive a second longer, but then look at Starzo. Again, propping himself up, super close contact on that A-site piece if they fancy it, but putting a lot of faith right now in Killers. Considering that CNED's hit that rotation on the ladder, Bone Cold, that's 3. Finally handled by Redgar, but a 2v3, where'd you take this?
It will swing back up here. Might even...
Oh, no!
Oh, no, a little bit
He's
of a
had a
fat
nightmare.
finger there.
He's had a nightmare. Look, it's finals, all right? We're all nervous. We saw nothing. We'll move on. Yeah, it's fine. And hello, that's another pixel out of place. So again, these fact-finding missions that Ascendant wanted to go on are interesting, but as Killer's read this rotation, it's kind of ring-a-ring-rosy, right? So you're going to have a really weird position from Starzo, and it looks like they've almost flipped sides. Now the ult comes in, so at least should facilitate the point. Oh, he has no idea. Right underneath him, depth from above. Gonna find Chronicle, deny the lockdown, invest the ult, and now looks towards the final player. Redgar, what do you have for us? You've been impeccable this event, but you've got to find something here. Give me a reason to believe, because at the moment I'm really not on board. Starzo the first to fall, and now the 1v1, it's Killers! He's just the back line to so many of these rounds.
He really is. And again, you talk about the start of the year. Kilo's obviously doing the rounds in terms of agents now coming to his own in this role. And he's bailed to send out so many times in terms of lurking, in terms of being the last alive.
So what did Gambit need to do here? I'm posing you a horrible question, but theorycraft me something, please, because it's 9-1.
Again, at this point, I don't think really Ascend are feeling any pressure. We talk back again to the variation. Some of these setups is drifting one player kind of being the anomaly. Gambit right now, in terms of information gathering, the early round's just not going their way. They're not finding kind of any space to exploit, anything that will give them any opportunity to convert towards site control, like I'd already said. Gambit playing that's, I got to say, a little too passively in terms of the expectations of what Ascend are going to try and achieve.
I'm seeing CNED going walkabouts.
Yeah, early round. Again, they're getting so much info off this, Lauren.
Now, there is a bit of a response in that tube pressure that's coming in. But CNED is feeling confident. He has the line of sight. And he is just having the run of things here. Bone Cold as well gets a challenge, but gets overwhelmed. Gambit with the two players coming through. Zeke with the underhand flash. It's good, but it's not great. Gambit finally getting the frags they need. The pace looking much better. More deliberate in approaches now. It's just Starzo. Say just Starzo. See what he can get done. Spike's being safely carried across towards the B side. Taken away from his last known position. And he looks for a mistake. A foot out of place, an overpeak. Be your first challenge if you went CT would have been Nats. Not an easy target to try and displace. And there's the spike plant.
Spike planted.
You got a very, very deep setup here as well. Gambit, I make absolutely sure they drag this one across the line. Not stars I can find any damage here. Just considering just saving this out, but again, coming back to that, with Chronicle, again, I know talking about comfort picks and whatnot, not feeling comfortable on the sky, but right here you see, as soon as CNED drifts into elbow there, they spot the turret, and it's almost like that rotation comes through straight away. You see Zeke and Keyless both making their way back through spawn. They read it perfectly. Gambit are almost kind of giving away exactly what they want to try and achieve in the early round, and Ascend time and time again and just sending one body. Like I said, it's so hard to deal with, especially if these players that are in rotation are catching a member of Gambit here and there. This,
lovely.
I think, just comes down to a couple of gunfights that Gambit are granted. And almost, you don't want to say that sloppy on the side of Ascend, but if they're not given though, I feel like Ascend still have a good read on exactly where Gambit are positioned.
Let me go again. Cena, the aggression isn't going to be just once, it's going to be followed up on. He's taking space in middle and he's not alone. He's got two players behind him, three if you want to throw in Zeke to that equation. And look at Gambit, super deep in this approach, taking space towards A, but everyone else holding that mid presence. Nat's going to invest the ult. Now Starzo knows that he's going to be really on a platter here. Tricky for him to survive. Can he do anything with it? The answer, pretty resoundingly, is no. Gambit with a really nice approach. There's the adjustment from Gambit we were waiting for. It took a little time, but it ain't over yet. CNED and Killer still here. He's just seen everything. He just sends it in. He gets Redgar, but Defo deals with Killers, and it's going to be 9-3.
And again, much more decisive. You can see right there, there's a plan almost from Gambit, and the first few kind of points on the checklist, it's within the first 15 to 20 seconds there. And they don't resort back to that slow default. There's no kind of progressive movement through the map here. And a much better, again, with how that played out, I think that's probably the best possible scenario in terms of the last round of that half. Let's not look at the scoreline so much. That's probably the best thing for Gambit.
It's given them a window of opportunity, maybe a little bit of rekindling of the faith that every comeback is possible for them, but 9-3 is a pretty stark contrast. Guys on the desk, what are your thoughts on the scoreline so far?
Thank you very much. Guys, imagine coming into the grand finals with this much confidence, Sean. A 9-3 start for Acend.
Yeah, and the way they did it, they're treating Gambit like TL right now.
They are.
All of these rounds that shouldn't go their way are going their way.
And this was so reminiscent over the split match. You have these rounds where Ascend's winning, and then one quick round goes the other way, and then like, no, we'll take almost the rest. Thank you very much. Everybody's stepping up. Kiles for me has just been such a big player from one tournament to the next. I thought he was a weak point for the team, but oh my word. And then you have guys like CNET just tearing the rest of the map apart.
He's hit some good off shots as well. Let us not forget, he's taken some forward aggressive positions that have been able to net him an opening kill. That has opened sights wide open for them, been able to crush some of the strategies of their opponents so far. So getting into half-time and him being able to sort of lurk into these positions, and of course Bone Cold around the side. I mean, everyone is firing on all cylinders now for Acend, and I'm sitting pretty, but you can't always count Gambit out.
Surely we have to talk about Zeke a little bit after that clutch.
I mean,
Come on,
round
that 2-1-4 was insane. 0.22 seconds on the clock. And then the next round, he breaks the Killjoy lockdown with his molly, gets that kill. Oh my gosh.
The one round they win, we're sitting there, Sean and I are sitting there, I was like, wait, they have an up, or they must save this. Zeke, boom, 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 and the round's over, and you're like, oh, maybe they don't save.
Yeah.
That's the Ascend pace right now.
I mean, similarly, a slow start for Gambit. We're used to seeing this as well, Jess. They've had a slow start a couple of maps, so not a bit too early to be worried.
Out of any team in the playoffs that could have a slow start, and I wouldn't be too worried about, it is Gambit. I don't fear too much, so I will give them an opportunity, but 9-3, that is a big round diff, so they're going to have to bring it back.
Well, they've come back from worse before. Let's go back into the second half and let's and see what they can do, Pansy and Hypok.
Yeah, the challenge is certainly now with Gambit to try and reinvent a little bit of what they want to bring into this, but it's hard to imagine a world where a couple of these pop-off rounds won't fall in with Acend, but we wait and see, right? That's the beauty of coming into these games. That scoreline does make me nervous sometimes, right? A 9-3, we've seen it before.
Acend holding on to a lead on Breeze.
Oh, don't. Why have you done that? Why have you done that? Okay, all right. And I've got to highlight once again, though, Zeke is such a standout to me as of late. And Defo going to be dealt with. Can he be shut down in time? No, he still gets to fall away, but they're going to try and springboard off the back of this. Keep that pace high. Beautiful flash through, completely blind. Still got one on the way down. Defo going to be dragging them down to the grave, and 4 standing for Gambit. This is a shutdown. Acend came in with a bit of a game plan, but it looks like it's been dealt with on all fronts.
Again, the setup is so good to greet this P hit. Almost mimicking Chronicle.
Stunner.
Actually, we'll find the third there. A strong start for Gambit. Again, decisive on both sides, actually. See straight away Acend as soon as that barrier drops. Swing through. Now, let's see. The one thing I'm looking for here, is particularly in these first kind of 2 or 3 rounds from Acend, it's just the pace, right? In terms of what Gambit showed, again, no real surprises. Lots of those rounds were slow, defaulty, trying to work off information that Acend just weren't giving to them. Gambit going to have their head on a swivel to deal with Acend on the attack. So, get curious once again. Kiles there to greet him. He's actually walking out here. Yeah, we'll actually find Bone Cold.
This is nice from Gambit. A quick reply is what they need. Get themselves back on track to what they believe the scoreline should be, and this is the perfect way to do it. See if they can keep all 5 alive. Shadow's got himself tucked in the corner now. Killers isn't considering it yet, but not exactly in danger either. The Spike still just leaning around that A side of the map, looking to see if they can catch anyone over-pushing, over-aggressing. Just don't see that really being a Gambit thing. Shados always so calculated in approach. Gonna fall away, keep himself to safety. And we look at what remains. CNET and Zeke.
You're creeping through here. Again, alarm bot on the other side. Turret as well, just a little bit deeper. We'll give away the location here. Chronicle's even really going to overextend a little bit, actually. We'll find CNED. Second
left.
should be a given. Well, as I say, that Zeke sharp with that classic. Only one will fall. Rifle recovered as well.
This is a step-by-step matter for Gambit. There's a couple of key rounds that we'll highlight when we get to them. The buy rounds coming in, a couple of bits and pieces here and there where it can filter through. But this is Gambit's bread and butter, right? This is what we've now known them for, this capability to close back in.
And particularly with the 9-3, you look towards the first buy round, then that first ultimate cycle, right? Which you look towards kind of round 4, 5 potentially. If things go if everything goes Gambit's way, that's when you start getting concerned, because those are the snowballing rounds.
Well, this is the first challenge, I'd say. If you get the bonus, you're laughing. But Gambit are going to stick on what they had. Defo does at least have the rifle. But, I mean, Chronicle's got to go. Spectre's a weak purchase up against the Guardians, and the rifle's coming out from Acend. So let's see what the damage looks like for Gambit here. And that is a belter of a start for Defo. Takes a head off of Killers, but a quick culling right back. That's the rifle now lost from Gambit, as CNED's mid-presence still going to maintain dominance here.
Again, a good indication as well, it being Keyless. They know this is going to be the weaker side of the setup, but very quickly Acend found a little bit of space. Bone Cold, can he avoid that? I don't actually think he gets spotted there.
I don't think so. Oh, you're playing dangerous games now. Shados is the one closest to the corner, but CNED's going to just check him, body check him down. Acend now striding towards the sights. That's going to be pretty much all the danger removed from the site, and not much to really come from it. Nats and Chronicle, this wasn't an invested round, though. If you look at what was coming through that Defo, I mean, yes, he had the rifle. No one else had anything, really.
No. Again, he just wants to make most of it. If anything, playing much deeper than you'd maybe expect in the bonus, but no real contingency behind that, and nobody covering the possibility that Acend had so many bodies bottom mid. Towards top mid, actually. Zeke will find another. Just one of his ultimate here, so whether or not they try and feed that kill over to Zeke. There will be, actually, yeah. We'll find his third. Acend put their 10th on the board. Gambit now. Again, things almost level out in terms of the round timeline here. That's big for Acend to kind of stop this momentum. Gambit now have to make the most of this buy round.
Yeah, this is when we talk about highlight rounds, key rounds. This is one of them. And obviously Acend know that as well. They're very aware. Now, Gambit didn't go all that in on that last round. I wasn't eyeing it up too much. They seem to be happy to go in against the 10 rounds that will sit in the pocket of Acend with the mere 5 of their own. But this is where it gets down to the nitty-gritty. We look at the op coming out for Defo. We look at the purchase. It's very robust. They're happy enough. Anything special? It looks pretty much like a kind of tube and your traditional APs, which does lean towards Defo as being the front man. He's going to find Zeke for free. Looks for a follow-up. There's no one there quite yet. You can see the vision. Just... oh, that got way too close. And Defo's feeling himself here. Pretty brave to be standing like this. What? Starzo walks in, makes the site his own, and Acend just bursts through. 5 now alive. Zeke back on his feet. And it's Nats and Chronicle, who don't have much territory in this at all. And already look at that push-up. Killer is taking so much room towards that deep CT side.
Again, they've got to consider holding on to this.
That's a save in my mind.
Defo loses the op. There's no Blade Storm available. The next round for Gambit looks awful. Absolutely awful. Acend going to keep 5 alive. I mean, actually, other than Zeke, there's not even shields that need repurchase in here. That is, by the book, the best possible scenario here. Keyless does...
You draw the line in the sand there for the economy going forward.
Okay, Starzo.
Okay.
Just a pixel out of place. And again, the other thing is with Defo, there's no chance for him to dash away. With Zeke obviously popping that null command, there's the sort of round where the death ball around that KO wall is so devastating, especially if somebody, particularly a Jet with an operator, decides to kind of greet that. And it's almost like he's baited in by finding that